Today I'm going to talk about aging and why it's such a privilege and why we should be reframing our lives. And if you find yourself still alive and still kicking from 60, 70, 80 onwards, and you're not happy with your life, you need to reframe it, because you are one of the lucky ones to be still living and to be still enjoying life, or you should be enjoying life, because most people, well, not most, but a lot of people don't reach this age. And I think that it's just so important to reframe and start living your life to the fullest. We're not going to stop our aging. We are going to die. That's a given. We're going to have wrinkles. We're going to put on weight, or maybe not, but we're going to lose muscle tone. We're going to have a few aches and pains. It's going to happen. So there's no point in being bitter and twisted about it, or angry, or grumpy in old age. You need to stop that and just think, wow, I'm still alive. This is fantastic, and enjoy it. So that's what I'll be talking about today. Welcome to my channel, The Not Retired Life. If you haven't been here before, then welcome. I hope you enjoy this episode and get something from it. If you have been here before, welcome back. My name's Leanne. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with a couple of things, just a little story of mine, a personal story very close to me. My father died at the age of 58 from cancer. He had bowel cancer. He got it when he was about 56, they discovered it, and he went through 2 years of hell. So he went through numerous operations. He really fought for his life. He didn't want to die, obviously. And in the end, it got him. It was too late. I think he picked it up too late. And I think he ignored some symptoms. Anyway, that's irrelevant at the moment. My father was larger than life. He really enjoyed his life. He was into boating. He had an old diesel riverboat, and we'd go up the river with him. He loved jazz, going out and seeing live jazz. He loved cooking, and he was this modern father that was quite groovy, really. And he really enjoyed his life until cancer got him. So I have outlived him. I'm 63 and I have outlived my father. Lots of people don't reach older age, and I just think that it's really important to understand that. And so if you find yourself still, alive and kicking well into your 70s or 80s, we may have some aches and pains, but you need to get over that and just really appreciate the fact that you're still alive. I have a friend of mine he retired when he was 47, quite well off, very, very comfortable life, traveled a lot, has been everywhere in the world, has had a very fortunate life, and he's now 73, and he just hates having birthdays. He's really bitter. He hates getting old. I hear about it all the time, the complaining. And I just think, wow, you've had the most amazing life. And yes, you are 73, but that's not old. Like, I don't think that that's old. To compare with that, I've got another friend who still does the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. He's got a 43 or 45 foot yacht, and he's the captain of that. He's got crew, and he does the Sydney to Hobart yacht races. And he would be, how old is he? He would be 70, going on 71 this year. And so he's still sailing, and that's a pretty grueling yacht race, the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. It takes a couple of days. Once you hit the Bass Strait, you usually get pummeled by winds, and it's quite dangerous, and they've had some full-on fatalities and all sorts of things happening in storms, and it's not an easy race. And so at 71, he's still doing these races. And I compare that to my friend who's 73, who has given up basically not given up on life, but just hates getting old, won't go out, will not celebrate his birthday. I cannot remember the last time I celebrated his birthday with him, because he won't do it. And so I just sort of think, why would you put yourself through that? He is very privileged, and he should be giving back, or just be grateful that he's still alive and still enjoying. Your life doesn't stop because you get to a certain age and you've been there, done that. So there are just a couple of little things that I think that we should reframe to help us if you find yourself becoming, a little bit bitter or just getting over it and hating the aging process. I mean, I still see myself, I look in the mirror and I see wrinkles, coming up. I see my body changing. I get a little bit more tired than what I used to do. I can't work out like I used to with exercise when I was younger. And that's okay. I don't have to do that. I'm not 20 years old. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s, but I still do something. And I really enjoy my walk. So I think it's about not having those expectations of being, expecting to be like you were in your 20s or 30s, because you're not. We are getting older. So you just need to adjust that. So if you're expecting to climb cliffs and go and do these workouts at the gym or whatever, just don't have those such high expectations. Understand that you are, your body is aging and you can still get good fitness or good health, but you don't have to do the full-on things that you do or you can't, that you did in your 20s. And the other thing that I would suggest is to celebrate your birthdays. I cannot understand why people, that is your special day. You were born on that day. Doesn't matter how old you are. I cannot understand why people stop celebrating their birthday because, it doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm now in, my 70s or 80s. It doesn't mean anything. Yes, it does. It does mean something. It's your special day and you've lived another year. It is something to celebrate and you need to celebrate it. It doesn't have to be this massive big party or, I couldn't do that anyway. I'm in bed by 8:30. But it could be just lunch with a few close friends. It could be just lunch with one friend. It could be just taking yourself out for the day and, spoiling yourself. Go and buy something or take yourself to the movies or go for a beautiful walk along the beach or, somewhere where you like to walk. But waking up in the morning and just having a slow start and really savouring the day. So you don't have to have this amazing big hoo-ha celebration, but you need to embrace it, recognise it, even if you're on your own, and just be grateful. It's like, wow, I've now reached, the age of 80. I've reached 81. That's amazing. And I'm going to celebrate that. So stop doing that for all you people out there that if you get to a point where it's like, I don't need to celebrate it anymore. You do need to celebrate your birthday and you do need to be grateful that you've reached another birthday. So that's really important. And the other thing that I think also is don't put up with crap as we get older. So if there are things that you don't enjoy or there's toxic people around you, I don't think that helps. So I think that you need to just get rid of toxic people out of your life. Don't put up with crap from people and really create a really nice space for yourself. You don't have to deal with all that crap. Sometimes if it's family or close friends and a little bit toxic, then you don't want to get rid of them completely, but you can minimize your time. If you find that it's affecting you and it's affecting your positivity, or it's having a negative effect on you, then I think that it's really important to minimize your time with those people. And I have a couple of really close people to me that are a bit toxic in my life and I adore them and love them dearly, but I need to minimize my time with them because I find that it rubs off onto me and it actually drains me. I find myself getting quite exhausted. So just be aware of if that's affecting your life, be aware of the people around you and who you're spending time with as you're getting older. Because you don't want to get into this situation where you're sitting there with someone and you're just bitterly complaining about life in general and, we're getting older and isn't it crap and, look what's happening to the world and, all this sort of stuff. If you find yourself bouncing off someone doing that all the time, I don't think that's really healthy for for going into older age. And I think that you need to minimize that. I don't think it's a healthy thing to do. So just be aware of those people around you and what sort of energy you're absorbing from them that's making you sort of react in the same way. So just be really aware of that. I think that's really important. And the other thing is participate in life. Like, just because you have done all sorts of things, you've traveled and you've sort of been everywhere, and I don't need to do anything, and I've been there, done that, I don't need to do that anymore. Yes, you do. You do need to do it. You need, or even if it's not that, just try something different, do something different, but you need to keep participating in life. Get out there and do stuff, and just don't make your world so narrow and just start closing in, and just keep just doing different things and trying different things and meeting new people, and just keep going. Like, your life isn't over. You don't just stop and think, well, that's it, I'm not going to do anything anymore. You need to keep learning new things, trying new things, participating in groups. If you're not that kind of person, I'm a little bit of an introvert. I didn't think I was. I actually thought I was extroverted, but when I sort of really studied myself and thought about it, I'm actually a little bit introverted, because I find that I can't have too much social contact. I love it. I really love it. But I can't do it all the time. It really drains me. So I need to go back home and sort of get into my own space and have a little bit of me time, a little bit of down, sort of quiet time to recharge again. So I'm not one of these bouncy people that can just keep going and going and just go to all these social events one after the other. I find it really exhausting. So you just need to, but you still need to get yourself out there and do things. And the other thing that with, I think, growing older and just embracing it is, stop blaming past life stuff. Stop going, oh, well, I had a really bad upbringing, or, I got fired from this job years ago, or I went through a really bitter divorce and, she was such a bitch, or he was so horrible, or whatever. Who cares? That was ages ago. That's years ago. That doesn't exist anymore in your life. So get rid of all of that kind of bitter grumpiness. And it doesn't have to affect you anymore. You've created a new life. You are now on a new path, and don't carry that into older age. Don't carry that past stuff from your life. This is, I think it's a real privilege that we get to this age, and we've done so much, and the good and the bad, you take the good and the bad, and those life experiences are what create our character. We have stories to tell. We've got lots of interesting experiences that, it's fascinating. I love listening to older people talk and learning about their lives, because it's just like, wow, that's incredible. You've gone overseas and you did this, and you traveled through Morocco, and, who would have thought? And it's just all of these things. You look back and reflect on your life, and it's pretty amazing. And it doesn't stop at 60, 70, 80, 90. It doesn't stop there. You are still creating experiences. You don't just sit and wait to die and just think, well, I've done it, that's it. So just, and don't let past stuff, that's just an excuse. Don't let past stuff don't think that, oh, well, because of that, I've never, like to be bitter about things that have happened and blame things in your past that have happened. We've all been through horrible things or bad experiences. Some people worse than others, a lot worse. But don't carry that through into your later years. And I find that because I managed retirement villages, I dealt a lot with older people. And I just find that they become very, and this is just from my experience, they become very self-absorbed, and this is part of their little world getting narrower and narrower. So they don't have this awareness of people around them and picking up on other people's emotions, or how those people are, or even listening to them. And it's a really bad trait that older people have. And I don't know whether it's because their cognitive decline is happening. I'm not sure. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I just find that they become very caught up in their own little world, and they don't really listen to you, and they don't, they sort of talk over you, or it's just, they just don't have that awareness. And I really don't want to, as I age, get like that. So I'm really conscious of it. I still want to be conscious enough and have that self-awareness to stop and shut up and listen to other people and take on other people's views and not be so caught up in my own world of, that narrow-mindedness of, so that, other people, I don't hear or listen to what other people are saying. I hope that makes sense, but it's just, and I find with a lot of older people, they very much get like that. And also they get grumpy really quickly, really grumpy. And I don't know why that is. I haven't reached that, and I hope I don't. I haven't reached that yet. I'm only 63, so I hope not. But their tolerance level and grumpiness, and I really don't, I'm very aware of that because once again, I deal with that a lot. And I'm not saying all old people are like that, but I just, don't be grumpy. What is making you grumpy? And there's no need for that. And I think that's where gratitude comes into it. And I think you do need to have enough self-awareness to sit down each day and be really grateful for what you have. My life hasn't turned out exactly how I wanted it to. And we'll go into that in another video. And it's not negative, but it's just not what I thought it would be. Do I love my life? Absolutely. Am I excited about things that might be happening? And I've got a few little plans up my sleeve for when I eventually retire, and it's really exciting, and I'll go into that in another video as well. But life doesn't end, and I'm so excited about my future and lots of things that I want to do. So I just think that, to have that gratitude and not be grumpy, and I think the grumpiness comes from lack of self-awareness, lack of gratitude. And though you need those two things together to be self-aware, you need to be self-aware to be able to have gratitude. And if you don't have that, then you do very much get caught up in your own little world. So just be aware of all of that. It is a privilege that we are getting older, and it's really sad because I'm seeing people around me and friends or just acquaintances that are passing away, and people I haven't seen for a long time. And, like someone that I knew when I was living down south, and she just passed away, I think from, lung cancer. And she was my age. And she was the most amazing person. And I didn't know her that well. She was part of my sort of outer circle. And it's really sad. And so you need to understand that if you are still alive and going into that older age, it is a privilege that we are doing that. Things happen, but don't stop living, and don't think that life is over at a certain age. So I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go. But yes, it is a privilege. You need to look upon it as a privilege. Celebrate the birthdays. Stop being grumpy. It doesn't help anything. Learn to have some self-awareness and gratitude. Reframe your story. Reframe your old age story. It is wonderful. Yes, we are growing old. Yes, we are getting wrinkles. Yes, we are getting aches and pains. There may be some illnesses along the way, but you've got people around you. You are still living. Enjoy the little things. There's so much out there to enjoy. So yes, have a wonderful day. Reframe your age, your older age, and look upon it as a privilege. So if you find yourself going down that path of not enjoying your old age, then you need to reframe it. I hope that has helped. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon.